It's tough now to know what conservative means, because I have so many friends of mine who are, liberals, Democrats, and they tell me, they're like, Lou, I believe the same exact things I believed 5 years ago, but for some reason, if I talk about them, I'm worried that I'm going to get in trouble. So it's sort of like people are being, kind of pushed into the conservative, the conservative bent or whatever
they're being labeled as conservatives.
They're being labeled as conservatives without even considering themselves conservatives. There's a lot of work that I've done in the past. Like I got my first job out of college. I wrote erotic fiction for a living. I wrote dirty stories for a living. Like that was my first job. That's not really a job that I would say a conservative would really take, writing. I can't believe there's no reason for me to bring that up. But
we're glad you did.
Yeah, just in case the comedy thing doesn't work out. I want everybody to know that I could go that route again and write dirty stories.
That's the only reason you've come on Trigonometry. You wanted some jobs doing that.
Yeah. Exactly. My erotic fiction career needs to be picked up again.
It's funny that you say that, because we have a kind of more libertarian comedian in this country, Simon Evans, who used to write pornography for a living.
Yeah,
do you know this?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so maybe that's why you kind of said you're a libertarian, which no one in the UK knows what it means, but
it means you're problematic.
Very, very problematic. Well, even in the United States, libertarians, people don't necessarily know what that is. So I think sometimes libertarians will be labeled Republicans who smoke weed, like that, which is a very oversimplified way of putting it. For me, as a small L libertarian, I'm not a part of the Libertarian Party. My whole thing comes down to this idea of voluntary exchange between people. That I don't want any initiation of force. I don't want people forcing others to do their bidding. I sort of take that from the personal place between this is all voluntary, and then sort of expand that to groups and et cetera, et cetera. And a lot of times that includes, for the most part, things like smaller government and rights as far as what you can and cannot put in your body. The idea is if you're not hurting anybody else, you should be able to put whatever you like in your body, that sort of thing.
And so what challenges do you face when it comes to writing political comedy? Because to write, for instance, a Trump joke is phenomenally difficult, because there's so many people, like you said, going after the same terrain. Yeah,
I think it's like anything. Being original is a tough point, but then also being able to do a joke and not lose the audience right from the get-go. So sometimes there'll be videos that we put out and people are like, oh, this is just right-wing propaganda. And it's like, well, I didn't really consider it right-wing propaganda. I thought it was me taking an idea and developing it and trying to do something with it. And then other times, they're like, we'll be called, you libtards, which is, do you guys have libtards here?
I'm a libtard.
Are you a libtard?
You're really not, but yeah.
I want to take that back for libertarians. Yeah. Like I want libtard to be the libertarian thing. It's not working out well in the U.S. But it's funny. It's like depending on which. If you have a weird, nuanced view of the world, I think people are so used to everybody sort of being in a box where if you believe this, you must believe this, this, and this. Therefore, I can see one thing that you did over here and make all these sweeping assumptions about where you fall on these other political issues.